Skyrim's story is about God creating the universe only to get mad at his chosen son and sending his much less impressive son to kick his first son's ass. The details can get a little complicated, but what if I told you that the entire story was in one room in the tutorial of the game? Don't believe me? Well, stay tuned. When I play Skyrim, I'm mostly trying to find the fastest way to free Serana from the tyranny of her father. And if I'm somehow still playing after that, I'm looking for the fastest way to free that caboose from the tyranny of that vampire armor. I'll never forgive Todd for not allowing me to marry her.
Oh, I get it. Is that why you're wearing an amulet of Mara? Look, you're great, really.
Fuck you, Todd. I really think this is the way Skyrim was designed to be played. After all, Skyrim was well known to be the worst Elder Scrolls game ever. There are no deeper meanings to this game. No reason to play it unless you somehow like a Viking Dragon Slayer simulator. Right?
Wrong.
What if I told you that Skyrim actually was good?
That's impossible!
What if I told you the writing has layers?
Layers! Onions have layers.
That's right. Today, I want to show you how the entirety of the plot of Skyrim is related to breaking ties to the gods and the creation of the Elder Scrolls universe, and how the entire thing can be found contained inside a single room in the intro of the game. For some reason, no one has picked up on one of the most obvious pieces of modern writing, and hardly anyone knows that the legendary stories of our time have what's called the tiny little microcosm prologue.
Oh, I have this tiny, little...
Some people call this the visual foreshadowing, but those people are cowards. In fact, I want to go to your school and call your English teacher a bitch if she calls it this. Visual foreshadowing. All my homies call it the microcosm prologue. Anyway, some examples you have definitely seen are things like Indiana Jones, where in the intro, he finds a treasure, mostly on his own, only for his guide to steal it from him and die as he tries to escape. This mirrors the entire plot and themes of the whole movie. Or for another one, you have Jurassic Park, where humanity brings back a wild, prehistoric animal and tries to contain it in a cage, only for it to still manage to kill someone. This mirrors the plot and themes of the entire movie. Or there's probably the most famous example, where in Star Wars: A New Hope, it opens to a tiny, almost defenseless ship racing to get away from the looming, destructive power of the Empire, and the audience asks themselves, how will it ever manage to get away? This, once again, mirrors the plot and themes of the entire movie. Now, you probably think you know where I'm going with this, but I promise you, you're wrong. Just stick with me here, okay? See, eagle-eyed Skyrim players are right now probably, maybe even typing a comment about how everyone already knows this about Skyrim. How, in the intro, we are introduced to the conflict between the Empire and the Stormcloaks, only to have that conflict interrupted by the return of the dragons, who have been gone for thousands of years. Then, during our escape from the dragon threat, we are forced to pick between choosing the Empire or Stormcloaks, who will help us on our path to fight Alduin the World Eater. Is that what you thought I was gonna say? Huh? Idiot? Everyone look at this stupid idiot. That's not where I'm going with this at all. Everyone look at this guy. He peed his pants. You look so stupid right now. No, what I'm really gonna say, the real revelation of the entire Elder Scrolls universe comes right after all this. If you choose Ralof, the objectively correct choice by the way, you enter immediately onto a peculiar room. In a game full of recycled assets and repeating variables, you probably ran right by this room without ever stopping to consider just what the hell was going on. No one would blame you for getting your bindings cut, killing the guards, and moving on. But I would blame you. Because this room contains the entire game, the entire series inside of it. What if I told you the wheel on the ground, the shadow of the chandelier, the wall decoration, the positioning of the player, and even the cutting of the ties were all intentional by Bethesda? Let me start at the beginning. Everything in the Elder Scrolls universe is contained in a symbol called the Aurbis. I'm not going to explain everything. There's not enough time. But in this image, everything in the Elder Scrolls universe is contained and given meaning. Every realm of Mundus is explained and given meaning in space. From Nirn, or the world of Tamriel, in the center, to the 8 planes of oblivion coming out from it, to the rim of aetherius along the outside, and the void existing beyond that. This is usually represented by the symbol of the wheel. The wheel of Aurbis also represents change, with each turn of the wheel representing one kalpa. A kalpa is an age of varying length in the Elder Scrolls universe. It's also a real thing, but it's an age of varying length during which world events occur. Races are born, form societies, create culture, form empires, fight and die, and then at the end of the kalpa, the wheel finishes its rotation and Alduin the World Eater comes to eat the entire world of Nirn and everything in it so that matter can be reorganized and a new kalpa can begin again. This cycle is inescapable. Just as Alduin cannot be killed, the turning of the kalpa cannot be stopped. The passage of time waits for no man. Thus, Skyrim and the rest of Nirn is doomed to be consumed by Alduin and to be forced to give birth to whatever comes next. That is, unless a being born of a god of all other gods were sent by that god to defeat Alduin and refuse the starting of another kalpa, untying the universe from the binding nature of fate and thus creating a new kind of kalpa going forward, one no longer tied to the gods, creating an age where nothing has ever been seen before and all things are new. What I have just described is the essence of the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Whether you want to give Bethesda credit or not, this is what the story of Skyrim is about. And there is plenty of evidence in the game that this is the case, but in today's video, everything that I've just said is represented in this room. Don't believe me? Here it is. The Dragonborn enters the room to find the 8-spoke wheel of the Aurbis on the ground. In the center is our plane, Tamriel. On the outside are the 8 divines, the 8 planes of oblivion. Further out, they double 16 Daedric princes, all surrounding the center of the room. And on the outside, nothing. Oblivion, aetherius. But if you look on the wall, above the wheel looms Alduin, the World Eater, here to consume this kalpa and start things over again, to stop the wheel in its tracks. On either side, we find the symbols of the Empire and the Stormcloaks, unable to meet in the center and fight because they are separated by the shadow of the dragon, here to consume them all. Here, we have the symbolism required to understand this moment in history. We are at the end of a kalpa, but the fight that is going on doesn't matter, because Alduin has separated each side. Unless someone comes in and unties the world from fate, everyone currently alive is doomed. And what do we have here? In walks the Dragonborn, a mortal holding the soul of a dragon, immortality contained within mortal life. They cross the Aurbis, living through their time in the kalpa, their life playing out as they cross the wheel. But their hands are tied. Like all mortals, their decisions are not their own. They are destined to play out the events foretold, and like everyone else, be consumed at the end of time. That is until you, the player, are given freedom to play however you'd like. And how are we given that freedom? How do you cut the ties of fate? Well, Ralof literally cuts the bindings from your hand. And for the first time in centuries, a true player enters the world of the Elder Scrolls, free not only to make their own decisions, but also free to defeat Alduin and break the ties between the Empire and Stormcloaks. All of it, everything I just said, is contained in a tiny room in the tutorial of Skyrim. And people say Bethesda can't write. Either that, or this all exists in my head and we really just need a new Elder Scrolls game before I completely lose it. I would love to take credit for this discovery, but the truth is I found it on a Reddit post. Still, I don't think that it's super well known. So let me know if you think this is a real thing Bethesda did on purpose, or if this is just the type of thing players make up when they haven't had a good game in 10 years.
To help you remain tranquil in the face of almost certain death, smooth jazz will be deployed in 3, 2, 1.
If you liked what you saw, shave Sisto Ravenrock into your friend's back and subscribe. It really helps with the channel. I make Bethesda content, so if you don't want to miss anything, stick around. I'd love to keep you here. I post once a week, so until next time, I'll see you around.